2019 has been a whirlwind of choices when you think about all the phones that came out this year. Each year, I genuinely look forward to reviewing the latest offerings from Google. I've been a stock Android user since the first gen Pixel, and even before that with the Nexus 6P. Google's software and hardware has evolved so much over the years. So what makes the Pixel 4 XL different from other phones? I'm Lida from Hypnotech. Let's take a look. Let's start with the look and feel. We released an unboxing video on the Pixel 4 XL last month, link in the description box below, but this year's Google flagship comes in white, black, and this orange color that I personally am a big fan of. While the phone has gone through a significant aesthetic change with the removal of the glass window, the minute you hold it in your hand, it still feels really familiar. The aluminum frame gives it a nice premium weight, but the star of the redesign is the matte feel on the frame. I love the feel of the frame on the fingers. On the front side, the Corning Gorilla Glass 5 has withheld a good amount of drops already on my end. The 6.3-inch screen has a resolution of 1440 by 3040 pixels and uses a POLED panel. While I was a little disappointed there was still a noticeable size bezel outlining the screen, I'm still really pleased with the overall look and feel of the phone and just how much more grown up the Pixel line looks now. The bezel may not compare well to modern competitors, but it's there to house certain sensors that I'll get to later. The powerful Snapdragon 855 also brings us into our next topic of discussion, software. I've said this many times, but I honestly feel that Google software is what makes the Pixel worthy of existing. If you haven't had a chance to experience Android 10 yet, you're in for a treat. There's all sorts of goodies in there from dark mode, smart reply and messaging, parental controls, to this year's new feature, gestures. When you combine the Snapdragon 855 6GB of RAM with a stock Pixel Android 10, the user experience is as fluid and enjoyable to use as anything out there right now. I was not disappointed with the performance of the Pixel 4 XL at all. One of the biggest removals this year is the fingerprint scanner. Instead, the Pixels now only utilize Face ID to unlock your phone. I mentioned earlier that I wasn't crazy about the bezel on the Pixel 4, but it houses the Face Unlock and Motion Sense behind it. Maybe I'm a creature of habit, or maybe I just have some really bad tendencies, but one of the biggest issues that I've faced thus far is trying to unlock my phone while it is still sitting down. If I'm trying to unlock it in a non-direct position like that of a phone resting on a surface, it becomes a tedious process over just using a fingerprint scanner. That being said, Face ID is the way of the future, so we have to start getting used to it. As for the Motion Sense, it's a pretty cool feature that companies like LG have hit the market with before, but Google seems to have taken it up a notch. Now you can use Motion Sense to snooze alarms, change music on Spotify, and dismiss phone calls. I use this strictly for music control when working at a desk and not much more. It'll be really interesting to see where Google expands this in the future iterations, if it does indeed have a future. As we can expect, there was no 3.5mm headphone jack, but if you're looking for a Google phone that does, the cheaper Pixel 3a XL has one. The bottom firing speakers are pretty solid and fairly loud. I'd say they're comparable to other flagships, but nothing special. One of my biggest gripes with the Pixel line has been battery life, and I was hoping the Pixel 4 XL would finally get that right this year. There's a 3700 mAh battery this year, which is slightly larger than the battery on the Pixel 3 XL. While I wouldn't say that the battery life is good by any measure, the phone does squeeze through a day and lasts a little longer than its predecessors. That, however, is still not acceptable. Being slightly better than bad still makes it bad. This is one aspect Google has to truly want to improve on to stay competitive. Just including things like quick charging and Qi charging does not make up for bad battery life. Finally, let's talk about the camera. The back of the phone features a 12.2 megapixel wide camera alongside a 16 megapixel telephoto camera. This is the first Google phone to have both standard and telephoto lenses. Unlike other phones released this year, there's no ultra-wide lens, and while it would be noticeable if you were coming from something that does have one, you wouldn't necessarily be able to understand the benefits if you've never used an ultra-wide before. I can say confidently that photo quality is just as good as last year's superb Pixel 3. The prestigious camera reputation of the Pixel line remains intact. But I would be overselling the phone if I told you that the quality was miles above last generation. To my eyes, I just don't see the jump. If you have a Pixel 3, you aren't missing much skipping the Pixel 4. And look, the phone is not going to blow you away, and there are valid things that Google should have improved on in this iteration. But if you're holding on to an old phone and looking for an upgrade, the Pixel 4 XL is still a very serviceable phone that offers a premium camera and really good software that will give you minimal lag and a clean Android experience. Do you agree? Disagree? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Once again, this is Lida from Tech, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! And that's it. Be sure to subscribe here. Hit the bell button so you don't miss any of our videos, and check out our other videos right here. Until next time,